Hello again, beautiful souls, witches, and wizards. Here another video, which I'm just continuing to film one after the other, just because I feel like it, and why not? Anyway, so in this video, in today's topic, I think I'm gonna start that over. Okay, here we go again. Hello, beautiful souls, witches and wizards. How are we doing this evening? Or whatever day. Man, I need to work on my intro. I'm not redoing this. This one's the one. Welcome to Alchemical Recipes, where my name is Edgardo, and I will try my best to explain spirituality, awakening, ascension, who we are, and what the hell are we doing here in the first place. Yeah, that's flu. That's flowing. So, in this video today, or not today, because in this video specifically, I want to talk about the scale of consciousness and why the scale of consciousness is extremely important. The scale of consciousness is our guiding map through this reality. It was created by Dr. I will have to remember his name. I'm so sorry about that. But basically, um, this video works better if you already have the information of the video, my video, from energy, vibrations, and frequencies. This is kind of like a sequel to that video because in here I will talk about those subjects and why are they so important when it comes to our state of being. So like I said, basically, we are an atom as a human being. I don't know whether I should stand or sit. I think I'm just gonna sit for this one right here. We are an atom, right? Which means we are in a state of vibration as human beings. Now, everything that you see here, right? You see, I'm gonna go over it because I know that I'm working with pretty difficult markers. So here we have the number 600 and peace. Then we have the number 540 and joy. Number 500, love. 350, acceptance. 175, pride. 150, anger. 125, desire. And 100, fear. Now, I have skipped a few and made a few adjustments. This isn't the actual scale of consciousness. This is just the example that I'm using. If you would like to look for the actual scale of consciousness and all the information, you can just Google it and you'll see plenty of graphs, believe me. But for the purpose of this example and for the purpose of my explanation of this, I'm just writing it down what I think would work best for me to explain it. So, these numbers that you see right here, no. Okay. First of all, we need to understand that emotions are energy, right? And we already know this, or we should know that by now. Everything that you see here, peace, joy, love, acceptance, pride, anger, desire, fear, they're not emotions, they're frequencies. And if you remember, the difference between an emotion and a frequency is, well, an emotion is just energy as motion. It's just vibrating energy that is passing through. But a frequency would be the default state of the vibration. So you know this as a human being. Let's try to bring this into a more relatable, grounding experience for us. As a human being, you wake up and you're going throughout the day, and then in the morning, something pisses you off and you feel angry, right? And because of that anger, your vibration, right, lowers. It goes down. And then you get into the car, you're on your way to work, and then there's traffic, so you just feel worse, and then your vibration goes lower. And then you get to work, and your coworker surprises you with a cake and you're like, "Oh my god, I've been having such a bad day," and like, what a pleasant surprise! You just surprised me with this, and then you feel better, and then you kind of feel like joyful and happy and whatever, and then your vibration goes up. That's what you're doing throughout your day with your emotions and with the energy. It's just going up and down and up and down. And with everything that you're perceiving in the 3D reality that is leaving an impression on your nervous system and on your brain, it plays with the vibration of your state of being. So you're constantly going up and down, and that is what all these emotions are just coming and going, and you just don't feel stable. Now, if we look at stability and the definition of frequency, we understand that if you can maintain your vibration at the same state or try to for most of your day, right? That it doesn't matter what happens in the outside world, it doesn't matter what you experience out there, you can keep a constant vibrational state, meaning the frequency being how frequent are you vibrating at, and you can maintain it in a default state. That is what you should strive for. That is the difference between feeling emotions and feeling frequencies. I hope that makes sense. You see, when you are vibrating with your emotions, with the energy that is passing through you throughout your day, you're not stable. And you can find stability by defaulting your vibrational state into a frequency. And you may ask yourself, well, how do I do that? Well, as you can see here, there is a number attached to the frequency, which means this is the frequency of the vibration. This is the default vibrational state of this frequency, the frequency of fear, the frequency of desire, the frequency of anger. The reason I drew this, you see how it's wide on top, and as it goes down and it descends, it constricts and it gets denser and denser and denser. Here we are working with very low dimensions. And you have to remember that it's in this third dimensional reality, because we are electromagnetic energy being manifested into the third dimension, we are constricting. The lower that we go, the more constricting it is. The higher that it goes, the more wide and freeing the frequency is, right? Like you can see that like in, what was it, radio waves? Like if there's like a wave, the longer the wavelength is, right? And then the shorter the wavelength is, it just goes like, it's the same thing. Yes. So when the way that you use this, knowing the information that I have provided, is that when you feel any of this lower vibrations or low frequencies in your system, you can shift yourself into a higher frequency. That's what they mean by shifting your energy. When you hear people around saying, oh, on YouTube, and when you're searching for this type of stuff, and they say, oh, you have to shift your energy. Well, this is not happening because you're not shifting your energy. You have to shift it, okay? This is what this means, right? Shifting your frequency, that if your default vibrational state, if you have a lot of anger within your energetic system and your frequency, it stays most of the time at 150, you're gonna feel constricted. You're gonna feel the anger. You're gonna feel stuck here. And you may ask yourself, well, how do I change that? How do I get rid of that anger, those emotions, that energy? You shift it, or you get rid of it by allowing it to pass through your system. Because going back to the laws of thermodynamics, energy rises. It doesn't go down. Heat rises. It goes up. That's why this goes from a constricted state to a more amplified state. Because the energy is rising. And the higher it goes, the wider it gets. the more it expands. Because that's what consciousness is constantly doing by its nature. It's just expanding and opening up. And that's what you are, consciousness. So this is you expanding to who you truly are, right? So when you are feeling things down here, like let's use fear as an example. If you are fearful, you are vibrating at a very low frequency. Your default state is very low. And you may ask yourself, how do I change that? What is practical about this? The practicality of this is that the easiest way, fastest, at least it was for me, and I have met other people that have shared the same experiences. When you're feeling this, the first thing that you can do is just accept it. Acceptance. If you're feeling fear, then accept it. Oh, I am experiencing fear at this very moment. Don't let it cloud your judgment. Don't sit there and try to make excuses like I shouldn't be feeling this, like I'm fighting against the fear, or I don't want to feel this. I don't know. It's rising because it wants to leave your energetic system, and you have to allow it by accepting it. That's why I wrote this one as the first one, and the green, more wider, starting expansion of consciousness. You raise from a 100 vibration through a 350 just by accepting the situation that you are in right now. If we look at the 7 stages of grief, the first one is denial. You're all the way down here. And they tell you, you go through, it's like the AA meetings and the 7-step. I've never participated, but I've heard about it. Acceptance. Why? Because it's the easiest way for you to raise the vibration, for you to raise the frequency, for you to get rid of it, of the energy that's stuck in you, that's causing you to feel fear. That is how you use the scale of consciousness. As you go up the scale, you gain access to these frequencies of love, of peace, and of joy. And what does this mean? It means that your constant vibration, your frequency, stays for most of the day, throughout your day, at this number, at peace. So people that have achieved this, right? The masters and the fully awakened people, not necessarily, but your Eckhart Tolle, Jesus, Buddha, all those ascended masters. You can, in fact, stay in a peaceful frequency for most of your day. Because it's a frequency. It's not an emotion. Emotions are coming and going, but frequencies, they stay. So you can constantly feel peace. You can constantly feel joy. You can constantly feel love. You don't need anybody to love you. Love does not exist outside of yourself. Love is a frequency. When you're talking, even in our day-to-day language, you don't say, oh, I'm feeling love for you. No, what do you say? I'm in love with you. I'm in it. In love. What does that mean? To be in love. In the frequency of love. That's what that means, because love is not an emotion. It's a frequency. and you can feel it, and you can stay at this state for most of your day. And it's possible to stay in a loving state. How do you do that? Again, we go back. When you're feeling lower frequencies, lower vibrations, accept them. Start by accepting them. Start by acknowledging that this is inside of you, but it's not you. And you shouldn't judge yourself for that. It is what it is. And this is what we came here to do. And for you to be able to get rid of all of this and reach this, that's what they call the inner work. You have to do the inner work. You have to work on yourself. And how do you work on yourself? With information, with knowledge. Because at the end of the day, what we're fighting is just ignorance. Hate is just a manifestation of ignorance, right? So when we gain knowledge, we gain power. And that is my purpose with this channel, is to empower everybody, is to make people realize that they don't have to be where they are if they don't want to. There are choices, there are ways of growing and getting rid of everything that we don't want to experience. And now, don't get me wrong, you can be in this frequency and still go through bad things, right? You can feel joy, you can feel peace, and your life might be falling apart. But when Jesus said that God was unconditional love, this is what this means. It means that there are no conditions outside of yourself that should have control over your frequency. There is nothing outside of you that should have power over what you're feeling. These frequencies are unconditional. They require no conditions outside. There is nothing outside of you that can help, that can get you to feel this. That's why it's inner work. Everything is internal, which is how manifestation works. In ancient Greece, they knew as within, so without. We will get there. I will make another video on that. Not today. I think I'm going to end the stream here. But I will get into why there is more to this than just this. But for right now, I want you to understand that by accepting what's going on within you, you can start this process. You can start to shift energy within you and eventually get rid of all this permanently. And even though things may be happening outside in your external world, you gain access to this. And it helps you because it's different perspectives on how to approach life and the situations that are in front of you. Because someone that's in a lower frequency is going to, let's say there is a car accident, right? One of those people is in a low frequency in fear. And let's just say the other person who was in the accident is in 600, is in peace. Both of these people are going to handle the exact same situation differently. Why? Because of this. Because of their perspectives. This person who's in fear is going to collapse after witnessing the accident. However, this person will approach the situation in a more conscious matter, right? It won't be a fearful approach of fight or flight. Oh my God, like I'm out of control. I can't cope. I can't control my nervous system. Everything's, going down. Versus a person that had the same accident, but they are at a higher frequency. They are at peace. So they are able to be conscious, and instead of reacting to the accident, they can act. They can be in the moment. They can be present. And now you have one event experienced completely differently by two people. And that's the difference in perspectives and dimensions, right? That's what's keeping you stuck. It's not the outside world. It's not something out there needs to change so that I can feel better. It's the other way around. It's a paradox. Is how can I feel better so that I can confront whatever comes through life to me, for me, you know? You will still have trials and tribulations, but the way that you will approach them will be completely different than someone who is vibrating down here. And with that, I will end this video. I feel like this was pretty good.